Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Meg Heaton. While I was a reporter for the Hudson Star Observer for 27 years, one of my primary duties was covering everything education in the Hudson School District. During that time, I had the pleasure of seeing the initial days of the Hudson Backpack Program. It was decidedly grassroots effort by community members regarding a very specific need of students and families in the district. Since that time, it was started in 2007, so close to 20 years ago, they have continued to have the mission of responding to the needs brought on by whatever in the Hudson School District. And the needs brought on by this COVID pandemic are no different. It's just another challenge for this incredible program. My guest today is Kris Knott. She is the program coordinator for the Backpack Program, and we welcome her today. Thanks for being with us, Kris.
Thank you.
I think we have been so impressed over the years by the program and all you guys have been able to accomplish. I think it would be nice to maybe give a little history of the program and, where it's at, and before we talk about what you're doing specifically with regard to COVID.
Absolutely. Our program has a rich history of strong community support. We were started when the school nurse at EP Rock noticed that kids were coming to school hungry on Monday mornings. They were winding up in the office complaining of stomach aches. And she went to her local church and with the support of 10 other local churches started the Backpack Program. And they were able to service schools bi-weekly through many dedicated years of volunteers and hard work and wonderful, wonderful effort.
And the program, can you explain a little bit about how it worked? Because I thought it was so wonderful the way you kind of kept it under the radar and it was not an embarrassment or anything like that for kids.
Oh, no, it was completely confidential. Families were able to just sign up through their school counselor and the backpacks were sent home just in addition to their regular weekly backpack. No big deal.
And it started just at the elementary level at a couple of schools and expanded over the years to cover middle school as well, or?
We're in both the middle school and the high school, and we service those schools a little bit differently because those students have different needs. So the Backpack Program is available to anyone through the pre-K program all the way up through 12th grade. Anyone can participate, any student. But in the middle school and high school, we also support the Raider Network stores. So that's a store contained right within the building. The kids can go down there and access the food that they need in the building as well.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's great. In terms of, do you have any idea of how many students and families you service?
Sure. It ranges every year, but anywhere from about 150 to 190 families sign up for the Backpack Program in particular.
Mm-hmm. And the backpacks are filled with what kind of stuff?
Sure. We send home food for a family of 4 on the weekends. So something for breakfast, something for lunch, and something for dinner. And we try and include healthy options and usually a snack or a treat too for the kids.
And you've gotten support at one point, it seems to me that you were sending home vouchers for perishables like milk and that kind of thing.
Exactly. The families get a voucher to go to the grocery store during the school year, and then they can it's their choice. They can choose meat, produce, dairy products, whatever combination works for their family, they're able to choose. During the summer, because we use Second Harvest, we are able to access dairy and perishable foods that way. So the families don't get a voucher during the summer.
And I remember it was a big step when it expanded to the summertime, right?
Exactly. That happened 4 years ago. The school district came to our program and said, is there anything you can do for families during the summer? And we thought, well, sure, we'll try it. We'll see what we can do. And that has been a marvelous journey. We started working with Second Harvest Food Shelf that summer. And each year we seem to learn a little bit more about what we can do with Second Harvest. Second Harvest is a food bank. It's part of a national chain of food banks called Feeding America, and we can access food for as little as 13 cents a pound through Second Harvest. So we really can make great use out of the dollars that we've been given to work with. For example, during our last food distribution, we were able to provide families with almost 100 pounds of food, and we spent about $12 per family to give them that 100 pounds of food.
Wow. That's
Yeah, it's
incredible.
amazing.
It is. And in terms of how the program is funded, well, how does that work?
Our program is funded a number of different ways. So we have strong community support. We have wonderful, wonderful people in this community who are awesome about supporting our program. We also are supported through corporate and foundation grants.
Okay. And then it's obviously volunteer program. How many volunteers do you have working usually or on average?
During a normal food distribution, probably 30 people at different points during the day. It changes during the school year because our needs are a little bit different and we run things differently. And probably during the course of the year, oh gosh, I don't know. We have wonderful, again, strong volunteer support. People love to come out and help our program.
Yeah, that was always one of my favorite things to do in the fall. Margot Pat would call, one of the initial founders of the backpack program, and she'd say, "We need a picture, Meg," and out we'd go, and they'd all be there, stuff in the backpack. So it was always a very feel-good type of thing to do up in the Willow River Gym or wherever it was. So
yeah, absolutely.
There have been some folks that have been with you a long time. I know that.
Absolutely. Marg has been with us since the beginning, and so has Jean Schneider, I'm pretty sure. They've been
yeah.
Day one. Those women are the backbone of this community. We are so lucky to have them here. And they have just done tremendous work and really paved the way for, the next generation to continue the good work that has happened. I'm very fortunate to have them as role models.
Let's talk a little bit about what Backpack Program has been doing with regard to COVID.
Absolutely. So we've expanded our services in several really exciting and important ways. First of all, like I mentioned, we are now doing food distributions for families instead of sending just the backpack home. And what that means is that the family can come to our site. Right now, we're operating out of the First Presbyterian Church, and they can either pick up their food or they can sign up for home delivery. And they have access to, like I said, 60 to 100 pounds of food. And that includes frozen meats, fresh produce, bakery items, shelf-stable foods, household supplies, really a wonderful variety of food. And we really try to focus on, like I said, that fresh produce and healthy choices for families.
Mm-hmm. And when did the distributions, how are they, how often do they happen?
They happen on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, and that coincides with when Second Harvest delivers to Western Wisconsin. So that's when we have access to them bringing a delivery over here. So on our website, families can sign up for every single one, the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month, that food is available. Or like I said, we also are doing home deliveries. And then lastly, in addition to making it available to families in the Hudson School District, with a student in the Hudson School District, anyone who's living in the Hudson School District, say for example, a senior citizen who needs additional food resources, or maybe a married couple who've both lost jobs, but their kids are in college and they need additional food resources. Anyone who feels that they need additional food, all they have to do is sign up and we will make sure to get them some.
Wow, that's terrific. And you talk about home delivery. Who's doing these deliveries?
Our awesome volunteers.
That's wonderful. How many deliveries do you make of the people you serve?
Right now, ranging between about 36 to 42, depending on the week. Yeah, and it's a no contact process. So like when Schwann's delivers to your door and you set out a box and a cooler, we do the same thing. We ask families to either put out some sort of a plastic bin or a box and then a cooler, and our volunteer puts the items in the respective bins, and then they'll either text or knock on the door to let the family know it's there.
Are you seeing, in your interacting with people, are you seeing people who've never had to access this kind of help before?
I'm sure that we are. We've had a couple of comments from people saying, well, I didn't want to ask you for help because I figured somebody else might need it more than me. And I just want to reassure people that we can help. Don't worry about that. We've got plenty of food. And like I said, we're able to access it through Second Harvest at very low prices. And we make sure to take advantage of the cheapest food available, but still get them really good food. I think families, if you were able to interview one of our families, you'd be able to hear them say, wow, we get really great food, nice name brand food, and wonderful fresh produce that they're very pleased with. I know in our summer program, generally the people that come to our summer program are absolutely amazed at not only what they get, but how much they get. And once they try it, they keep coming back. They really, really like the program.
And I know that when the summer program developed too, I mean, it was a very specific need that the kids were, their families were kind of reliant on the backpacks during the school year. But I remember Marg being very concerned about what happens during the summertime when they're home all the time. And
right.
You developed a very good way of responding to that pretty quickly.
It came together fairly well. Yeah. Second Harvest has been a wonderful resource for us. We're very lucky to have them.
Yeah. And in terms of the pandemic, do you anticipate just keeping this up for however long, or what's the plan?
It's summer now, so we were getting ready for our summer program anyway. So we are looking at adding 3 additional dates in the summer based on additional delivery dates that we can get from Second Harvest. So we do hope to be able to offer people 9 distributions instead of 6. And depending on what happens in the fall, we will continue to respond to the crisis as necessary.
Okay. And if people want information about the program, you mentioned that you have a website.
Our website is www.hudsonbackpack.com, and all of our signups, whether it be for a family who's interested in participating or a volunteer who would like to participate, everything is right there on the website.
Okay. And if somebody doesn't have access to the internet, can they go through 211, or what's the best way? Is there a phone number or anything?
We're still working with 211 to get that set up, although I think that they would be able to direct them properly. There is a phone number they can call, and we can get them signed up that way too.
Okay, good. And they have that phone number there, or do you want to give it here?
Sure. You can call 715-781-5781, and we can get you signed up that way too.
Wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about, what can the community do to support the backpack program?
The community can help out in a couple of different ways. Of course, financial support is always appreciated, and we can access a donate button right on our website. So send it in through the mail. It's very easy. You can volunteer with our program, and that can look a number of different ways. So you can either just come help on a regular day and pack backpacks, or you can come help on a food distribution day and help unload the truck and pack food bags and hand out food to families. Another option for families is to organize, maybe through your neighborhood or through a small group at church, a special packing event. And what we do for those is we pack a meal kit for families. For example, we do either a taco kit or a chili kit or maybe a spaghetti kit, and your group covers $1 of the cost of that meal. Generally, those kits range about $3. And then our program covers $2 of the cost of that meal. And your group comes in and you pack the kit. You maybe include a note of encouragement to each of those kiddos. That's usually a fun activity for people to do. And then we put those kits in the backpacks or in the summer bags, either way.
Nice. And people can find these volunteer opportunities again on the website, right?
On our website.
Okay. And in terms of how you've been working with, obviously, with Second Harvest and the food vendors there, do you get food directly from the grocery stores or anything like that?
We try not to, because it's quite a bit more expensive that way. Occasionally there's an item we can't get, so we do have to get it from the grocery store. Most of our food, though, we really try and resource through Second Harvest. There's an additional food bank that we work with. And then we do have a partnership with the Camp St. Croix right now. So we are getting produce from their tunnel gardens, which they've just... Yeah, that's been a really exciting thing. It offers some unique produce that we don't normally have available to us through Second Harvest. Through Second Harvest, we can get apples and potatoes and carrots, the basics. But I know next week we're getting radishes and some wonderful lettuce and some really fun items that we wouldn't be able to offer. So that's a really exciting thing.
That is great. That is great. Kris, can you talk a little bit, Hudson has a reputation of being, at least from the outside, a pretty affluent community. And that, do you think people are less aware or more aware now of the needs of a lot of people in the community? They kind of go hidden or under the radar for us a lot. But the success of the program and the longevity of the program would speak to the fact that there's a lot of need out there that we don't necessarily know about.
Absolutely. The numbers are deceiving because our poverty rate in the Hudson and St. Croix County area is pretty low. People tend to think that we don't have issues, but really what the problem is we have a whole group of people, and we have data to prove this. It's been studied by the United Way that there are a lot of families who live in Hudson who, even though they're both working or, working two jobs to make ends meet, they are just making ends meet or not quite making ends meet. Mm-hmm. So all of their income every month is just covering or barely covering their bills. And I try to look at our program as, this isn't something a family should be ashamed of. This is a wise use of your family's resources to take advantage of a program like this. Because if I can, for example, on our April 22nd food distribution, after we handed out the food, I kind of went through and added up what we were able to give people. It was over $100 worth of groceries. If you can do that twice a month, that's like putting $200 in your bank account.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it continues to be an important need in the community, even as we go forward. And is there anything else about the program that we haven't talked about that you want to mention?
I think that you've covered the program really well, and we just really appreciate you taking the time to allow us to share what we're doing in the community. It is a wonderful thing, and everybody puts in their little piece, and it all adds up to this really amazing resource in our community for people to take advantage of.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was grassroots. It grew out of just people responding, hearing that somebody had a need and how to respond to it. And it's just grown from there in very non-judgmental way, which is the best way. This is one of a series of interviews we've done with a lot of nonprofits in Hudson, and how all of them are responding to this pandemic is really an encouraging thing about our community. It says a lot about people like you and the rest of the people. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Good morning. We're here at the Hudson Area Backpack Program. Today we're unloading 13,000 pounds of food to feed families in our community this week. We've got lots of volunteers over there working, and I'm going to just show you a little bit about what we're going to do.